He gives him a kick for good measure. Did not expect that. It very much reminds me of Bridgerton. Jasper's just a hot mess, and you've got to have a hot mess. I have no doubt how it's going to end. You can't con a con man. Hi.
Hi. So, we're back again.
We are in force.
So we are moving on to the Six of Crows duology. If you missed it, I don't know what order these are going up in, but last week should have been the Grisha vlog. And so I'm really excited to get into this one because I think Dad is really going to love this heist duology. So I read the duology first in 2019. It's still pretty fresh in my mind, but I'm really excited to see what Dad thinks. I am like 100 pages in and he is 21.
21 pages in. I will say much better. The start is way better. I think the fact is I like books that start with a little bit of action and then build the characters as it's going along. So I sort of start to get a feel for the characters before I actually have to learn who they are. Because then I'm getting excited about, oh, I wonder where they came from, how did they get there, and this is how this one started.
Basically all I wanted to ask is, I know you're only 21 pages in, but how are you feeling with the characters you have met?
No, I think they're really, really cool. I like Bolliger, big burly guy. I like Inez, if that's how you say it. Inez. I like her. I think she's a very interesting character. Kaz seems like the mastermind, the guy behind everything. That's as much as I really learnt. So
yeah, we will catch up when he is further through. And yeah, that's it for this little intro. Bye. Hello. So you are further into the book. We're actually quite close to the same area now. You caught up very quickly.
I read a lot. It's a good book to get into. It's fast paced. It's hard to put it down actually.
One thing before we really get into it, I just want to say when we made the first clip, it was hilarious because you'd only read 20 pages.
Yeah.
And so one of the things you're like, yeah, you know, Kaz is cool, Inesh is cool, Bollinger is cool.
Yeah, but now he's gone. He wasn't so cool. He was a traitor.
No, yeah.
He got sacrificed. Kaz fixed him up good.
You've met everyone by now because they're on the boat. They're headed to the party.
Ice Palace.
Ice Palace, yeah. So, what are you thinking? What are your vibes? Are you enjoying it?
No, the book's amazing. It's fast paced, plenty going on. I'm at that point now where we're learning a little bit more about Matthias and Nina and their whole background. You know, and having read further into it, now I understand why Matthias is so negative, because their whole thing is capture them because they're witches, they're abominations to humanity. Her whole thing was about how to, you know, Kaz, why couldn't you break him out, get him out? And then Kaz is so cold, he goes, just wasn't worth it to me. It's like, okay, I'll do what I need to do when there's, you know, something.
It benefits him, yeah.
Yeah, if there's something in it, I'll do it. If there's not, then I'm not doing it. Yeah, I like the fact that, you know, you definitely saw, you know, when he saved Wraith, you know, he's still got a feeling for his own team. But he also, you know, is not beyond saying, well, okay, it is what it is too. I think Jasper's like a cool, you know, he's just a mess. Now I need to see whether Inez actually, you know, how she comes back from this. I thought it was pretty cool when she stabbed the guy.
Oh yeah, with her knee.
With her knee knife.
Knives.
But it was interesting watching her walk past the menagerie and the impact that being back in front of it and then being captured, you know, given everything she had with her at the time, the knives, the things, she could have easily dealt with that situation. But it just goes to show even the toughest of people, when they're faced with things that are, you know, a mortal fear, they're not able to get past it. But it's been cool. It's
fun to read it this time around because I know more about the characters, and it's a cast that you just love as you continue reading them. They're just so unique, and the way that they are together is hilarious, and it's a fun, fast-paced book. And so
I think the cool thing about this book is too, it's not as teen as the original series. It's still not adult, but it's definitely aged up YA. You sort of believe that they're way older, like,
yeah.
You know, it's only, you know, when you realise that Kaz is so young yet he's so wise, he's got this whole street smarts to him. It just shows how fast, you know, obviously in his backstory, how fast he had to grow up. Mm-hmm. So, and I like the fact that when he's in the cell with Matthias, he knows Matthias is going to go for him. And he goes, yeah, look, you know what, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And then as he's leaving, he gives him a kick for good measure, because he goes, the big ones take they need an extra reminder to stay down.
Oh, and then the scene where he stabs the guy in the eye and then rips the eye out, and then the guy tells him, and he's like, okay, thanks, and then overboard.
That was going to happen though. I had no... There was no misapprehension that he wasn't going to... The guy was dead.
Another guy was done for.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll update when we're a lot further through. And that's it. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Dad has finished Six of Crows.
I have finished. A little strange, actually, because the Kindle version, unlike the paperback version, you get 77% of the way through and then all of a sudden the book's finished. And you go, hang on, I've got 23% of the book to go. But no.
So what did you end up thinking of it? Where we left off, where you last were, they were on the boat going there. And so literally the entire heist happened. So you didn't know much about anyone's backstory. You vaguely
you learn a lot of the backstories and it's interesting how you sort of get dragged into the whole speed of the book, and then she intersperses the character building as part of this major event happening in the book. It's just a little different than the way most people write it. I really enjoyed it. I smashed that book yesterday, so I couldn't, I just wanted to get through it and read it, and the ending is a absolute cliffhanger. Did not expect that. You expected, Kaz to sort of figure out that the other guy was going to double cross him, and then figure out, okay,
something was wrong.
Yeah, I thought the heist was good. I thought the way they played it was good.
Because it didn't go as planned. Like, things happened, they had to keep changing, everything was going wrong, and how they adapted. Matthias's kind of moment where he
had to make a decision, whose side was he really on.
I've forgotten that he ended up in that whole situation where you're like, wait, whose side is he actually on?
Well, it was funny because I thought, hang on, has he flipped? But then I'm reading it, I'm going, well, hang on, why would he have flipped? Because he just told Nina that he was all in with her. It was good. Really good book.
Who would you say is your favourite out of the six?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I like Ināj. I think she's cool. I like Jasper, though. I think he's just like a bit of a hot mess. And then I like the relationship between him and Wylan. I think that's cool, that it's almost like he's taken this kid under his arm. But then Wylan has this bizarre ability to come up with stuff as he's going along. So I thought the fact that when his dad came out and shared the fact that he was dyslexic, I thought that was interesting. And that was the reason his dad kicked him out. It very much reminds me of Bridgerton. As to why the dad in Bridgerton doesn't like the son. But getting back to the original question, the relationship between Jasper and Wylan I think is really cool. It's like his little brother. Because when he's gone, he's going,
well, it's also a little flirtatious between the two of them as well.
You think?
Did you not catch that?
No.
They had a whole conversation.
No?
They had a whole conversation between the two of them where he goes, oh, you mean like catching girls? And then Wylan goes, just girls. And Jasper goes, no, not just girls. They're not completely straight.
Well, I probably read it. I probably didn't read anything into it. And look, let's face it, in a lot of these books, people are, they have relationships with everyone, incredibly fluid in their sexual interests. So,
what did you think of Kaz's whole backstory? How he really developed him and his whole vendors, I guess, Pekka Rollins and that whole.
I sort of guess that's why he didn't like him. That he was the one, because they stole all his money. I didn't get why he always wore gloves, and I didn't get why how his brother died. But then all of a sudden, when you find out about the disease, and then he and his brother both get it, and then his brother passes away from it. I think it's pretty cool the fact that she introduced the gloves because he doesn't want to touch a person's skin because he used his brother as a flotation device. Somewhat bizarre. There was a lot of other bodies he could have used, but he used his own brother's. You see him as this unbreakable person, this person that's super strong, and then yet he gets in the back of that wagon with the hood on, passes out, he can't take it, because of the proximity of the people, and then I just think the whole thing was just overpowering his senses and everything. It was just too much. So I thought it was good for his character development that you saw that, he's not completely infallible,
He has his weaknesses. Yeah. Going back around to Jasper, it was funny because I went into this series and I knew a couple of things by the time I went into it, but the one thing I had no idea about that no one ever talks about is Jasper being a fabricator.
Yeah.
that he is a Grisha, and the fact that it's just, I think it's so interesting to come from the last series and seeing how the Grisha are in that to then seeing this series and the vast difference of it.
And that he's hiding it because he didn't want to join the Second Army, and how Kaz already knew about it. Yeah, so Kaz knows everything about everyone, but not everyone, and Inej knew as well. But it's interesting how, not everyone knows everything.
The tank. The tank.
How cool
I love the tank scene so much. It was such a
Well, you know what's interesting is the fact that they get into the Ice Palace and they've made such technological advancements versus everybody else. It's almost like you can see that they're setting themselves up to invade other lands where the Grisha are really the force that makes the difference by using technology. The way they've created technology is through using the Grisha to create the technology. So it's somewhat of a,
Well, that's the whole conversation that Matthias has with Brum, is you're just hypocrites in the end because 100%. You use them for your own good. It's like...
No, and the whole thing is that they know that they need to use their skills because without them, there's no way to build these things. 90% of what you see in the Ice Palace was created by fabricators. But it's like a lot of these things. You see people in power, they punish the people, or the people that they're looking to punish, they know they have to use them in order to win. You go back to ancient Egypt, it's not like what the pharaohs did back then. So
you said that Shadow and Bone, the series, was a 7 for the YA scale, but was a 5 on like all your average book scales. Where would you chuck this?
Yeah, it's probably a 6.5. There's not a lot of detail there. So, the characters are fun. I would love to see this series rewritten as an adult series where you could really take the characters and because the world she's built and the character profiles she's got, if you took that and made it an adult series, you could really expand on that part of it. There's just so much there that you could do if it was not targeting people, that are younger. But look, I think overall it was still a great read, nice, and it was fast. And for me, as a book just to pick up and blip through, it was great.
Awesome. Okay.
I now want to get the other one done because I'm in the middle of like 3 books, so I want to get yours done so I can move back.
Okay. We'll do that. We'll start tonight. Okay, well that's going to be it for this little update, and we'll catch you all later. Bye-bye. Hey, what's up? So we are currently 44-ish% through Crooked Kingdom. So how are you liking it so far? Where we're at right now is the part where they're about to do their mission to kind of screw over Van Eck. Also,
bad dude.
Say the Grish. Yeah, he just gets worse and worse and worse.
That's why, because he at one point he thought he had all this power, he thought he was the king of everything, he thought he could get his own way, and now all of a sudden there's been a few spanners thrown in the works, and the only way he knows how to respond is through being more and more aggressive through it. Mm-hmm. So, which is what a lot of powerful people do.
So what do you think of how it's going so far with just kind of how the crew is? They saved Inej, and then Nina is struggling with how the Parem's gone through. Wylan has
she's not struggling. How it went through. She's struggling with addiction.
Yeah.
Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah. No, she's struggling with addiction with it and the withdrawal, but also how it's kind of changing her power at the same time. Really interesting.
Yeah.
You have no further thoughts?
Oh, I didn't realise there was a question in... You said so many things. I didn't know there was a question there. Yeah, Nina's struggling. The addiction thing's not so good. But now we've got her with new powers, so her whole powers evolved. So from being someone that could control the blood in a human being and their bodily functions, she now can control bones. So yeah, Nina's...
Well, Zoya's back.
Love Zoya.
I know you love Zoya.
I love Zoya in the first book. I really love her here. She's even more badass in this book because she's actually even got better. And then Matthias, yeah... I got this bad feeling for Matthias.
What?
You know what? Someone's going to die in this book.
How? How did he figure that out within the first 44% of this book? Like, that's supposed to be like the biggest shock to most people. I mean, I went into the series already knowing Matthias was going to die because I had just been spoiled. But how on earth did this man, really...
And I just look at everyone, like Inej... Inej has managed to survive a lot of bad stuff. There's no way anything's happening to Breaker because he's just too slippery.
Oh, love him. Love Kaz so much.
ɪᴛᴏᴏ, whilst he's a little bit of a geek and he's a little bit clumsy, he's just got cool tricks about him. So it's like this sort of, savant. And then you've got...
Jasper.
Nothing's going to happen to Jasper because Jasper's just a hot mess and you've got to have a hot mess. So that sort of leaves Matthias as the reluctant hero. Because, he loves Nina, and if anything bad's going to happen to her, you know what's going to happen. He's going to jump in the way, and I don't know. I like him.
They do have all the bounties on their heads too, and the Friedens seem pretty...
Yeah. There's a lot of bounties. Yeah, Breaker's worth a lot of money.
100,000
That
crew.
was my favourite part was when Jasper comes in and goes, hang on, why am I worth the least?
Why am I 30?
Yeah, why am I only worth 30?
Even Wyland's worth...
Even Wyland's worth 50.
Yeah, but it's because he's
alive.
Son. Yeah.
50 alive.
What did you think about his...
His dad sucks.
His mum. I forgot his mum was alive until he got to that scene and I go, oh my God, I completely...
I know, his mum is alive. And he managed to walk out of there. And the thing she said to him at the very end, she knew she was a Van Eck. So she's in there, but she played along with it because she didn't want anyone to know. So the question, what I didn't understand at that point was, did she recognise Wyland or did she not?
I think she recognised the flute playing from him, is my guess. What do you want to see happen? I mean, they're about to go on this massive mission to kind of try and screw.
I want to see how. You know what's cool is I think for an older YA book, the twists and turns are pretty profound. It's very hard to predict what anyone's going to do. Like, we knew that Van Eck was going to do something when they went to do the trade, but there was no way you would have ever guessed that he was going to do what he did. What's cool is they're not just getting away easily, they're barely escaping his trap every time. So way better than the first trilogy where they kept getting... Like, if this had been the first trilogy, they'd have been getting caught every time. I wish we'd talked about the book and then she wrote these. I would have gone, you know what? She heard what I said. But that's not true. It's not true. I have no doubt how it's going to end. In that Van Eck's going to lose everything. They're going to win. I don't know how it's going to play out between, is Inej going to leave? Is she going to stay? Because, you're starting to see that relationship build. To our point about Wyland and Jasper, who knows what's going to happen with them. I think Matthias is not going to make it. What we don't know is what's going to happen with Pekka because, Pekka's sort of sitting there saying, hey, he owed Kaz a favour, but the favour's being repaid because he gave him the money, although there was barter. So is that the favour being repaid or was there barter? At some point, given that it's only a duology, Kaz is going to get his on Pekka at some point because time has to play out there. But look, I think as a series, it's uber engaging. I got to say, I find it hard to put down. I just want to see what the next twist and turn is. So yeah.
Goodbye. You're done. You finished it.
We're both done.
Yeah. So last night I think I had like 10 pages left, and I was like, kind of tired. I was like, oh whatever, I'll just finish it. Thank the gods because you finished last night too. When you came in, he literally came into my room and specifically said, I'm not going to be able to finish it tonight.
Didn't think we were going to get there, but then I went to bed and I go, oh, you know what, I can read a little bit. It's not actually my fault.
No.
So I do want to say that the people, if anyone out there works for Kindle, it would be really helpful if the percentage on the bottom of the page said how much of the book left, not how much of the Kindle edition left, because it's a little misleading when I'm at 82% and I go, bang, 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 84%, book done. And there's still 16% of the Kindle edition. So
what did you end up thinking of it? There's a lot going on. I cannot believe that you called Matthias' death. Like what?
Well, I didn't call it the way it happened. I have never expected that to happen. I didn't really like the way that went down. Thought it was a little soft. Thought it was like killing someone for the sake of killing them. And if someone can explain to me, you have all the Grisha there who are able to save almost everyone, and then all of a sudden when he gets shot and turns up, no one's around. Other than guessing about him, I don't think I guessed anything else right.
No, I forgot that when Wyland was captured, he wasn't actually captured. They planned that, and then the Council of Tides was actually the rogue Grisha trying to leave and...
No, the whole thing, it was awesome, and the way Kaz set it all up and the way it was all written... It was awesome. Great ending, good book. I haven't got anything else to say. I would still give it a 6.5 overall.
Fair enough.
But that's more to do with the genre and the age of the book than how I enjoyed reading it. I loved reading it, but if I rate it against all the other books I've read, as I think I said earlier in the video, there's just the character development and the byplay and those things. There's just a level of that's missing. Although she did get into the whole thing between Jasper and Wyland.
Jasper and mine, yep, for their whole a little romance thing going on.
Their romance thing where he ends up kissing the wrong guy. It goes with everything to do with Jasper. You can't even get that right.
In our last clip, we didn't really understand Nina's Grisha power. Now we really understand it. She basically controls the dead. The whole Koparaki is the whole living, and now she's
this new Grisha.
Like, basically she's like a necromancer.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah.
Well, why would she raised dead bodies?
Yeah, but I don't know. If you think about true necromancy, they imbue dead bodies with life, and then they control their thoughts and processes.
Oh, okay, fair
and
enough.
then they're there until the necromancer dies. So it's just an inversion of her powers brought on by Param.
So what did you think about how Zoya, Genya... Well, actually, I saw in the back of the book there's a pronunciation guide, and it says Genya's name is actually Genya. Like, it's a J. It's a J name.
Really?
Yeah, uh-huh. Interesting. And also Nikolai, show him back up again as well.
You got to admit, he comes in pretty cool. For a king...
He's like, what do you mean? Who am I? And Kaz is like, there's something not going on here. Like, this is not.
And Kaz knew straight away. And Nikolai's trying to con... You can't con a con man.
Especially
not when
Kaz.
they're that good.
No. Well, and then there's also Kaz's whole development with Pekka Rollins.
Yes. I like the way the end of the book works. Mm-hmm. When Inej goes over there and serves him, because Pekka thinks, hey, you know what, I'm coming back. Yeah, right up until the point where Inej puts a knife at his throat.
She goes, not so much, you know.
I don't think you're coming back. I think we're done with you.
I don't actually know how much time passes between this series and Nikolai's series, because I do know... So in Nikolai's series, we follow Nikolai and Zoya, POV, but then we also follow Nina in Freed, the ice place. I have my own personal, like, things I think are going to happen, and I know that we heard about Matthias's wolf.
Yep.
And I think she's going to find it. I think she's going to find the wolf.
Well, I sort of half expected the wolf to turn up when they were there.
No, they didn't.
No, the wolf didn't turn up.
Also, the whole idea of, like, Ǩwē, he's now in Ravka, and he's going to be working there. So I'm curious to see if he has any role in the next series. And, like,
well, he
has to.
And based on everything they've talked about, it's really about how does he come up with the antidote.
So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out in the next one. I'm actually really excited for it now, because a lot of people they say each series gets better and better, and, you know, the last book just came out now, and I mean, I haven't seen what people thought of it yet because I've blocked everything.
I'm excited to read the next series. I think, look, without a shadow of a doubt, the writing got a lot better. The speed of the books got a lot better. I still think where she did the character development was a little strange for me.
Oh, yeah, the back and forth in the first book.
No, and even in this book, she did some character development in the middle. 2/3 of the way through the book, we're going backwards and forwards.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm more used to that happening earlier in the book, so that you build those characters up. So some of the things they do and don't do make more sense to you.
Okay, well, that's going to be it for this segment. I don't know when we'll read King of Scars. It'll be eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Hang on. Shh, we're not doing a repeat of last time. Hang on. Why is it whenever I sit here with you, I forget how I close these things out? If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, thanks a bunch, everyone. Bye.
See you guys. Bye. That Breaker actually...
Brecker.
Kez.
Kaz.
Kez. Oh,
Now that I kind of have Sol.E series. And then lastly, why is my brain stopping? I was going to say something. I can't think because my cat's trying to pee. My friend's name is Cassie, the one who was wondering if you would make a cocktail.
I always make cocktails.
Yes, you just don't show cocktails. You just drink them.
Well, I got a little confused about the process.
The process of how you wanted the cocktail shown. Well, it's close enough.
It's in the glass.
But you're reading quite quickly, and I'm quite busy at the moment. So
You do realise I have a job. I do run a company
I have
with a lot of people that work for me, so you make out that you're busier than me.
I have multiple things that I'm reading at once. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.